Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about iOS 16.5 Developer Beta 4 and sort of how's it going, what's happening, what are some bugs, some good, bad things, and whether or not you should download it. So stick with me and we'll get right into it. So yeah, see ya. Alright, well, let's get right into it. So anyways, the first thing I want to talk about is our software. And so on here, we are running iOS 16.5 Developer Beta 4, and the build number is 20F5059A. And because it ends in an A, that means we have probably not many more betas. I'm assuming the next one's probably going to be an RC release on Tuesday, or there could be another beta. Apple's been sort of spotty with it lately, but I'm going to assume on Tuesday, either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we're going to get an RC. So that's what I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm assuming. All right. And so first thing I kind of want to cover is, do we have any bugs that are sort of big and sort of need to be addressed? So let's hop right into that. All right. So first thing we're going to talk about here is weather. Now, over the past sort of couple weeks, I would say, people have been having a lot of weird issues with the weather app. I mean, like, you know, it hasn't been loading, it's been taking forever to load, like all of these weird sort of issues and things that just like obviously are not Apple-like. Like, you know, Apple's painted as this like perfect, fully optimized software system. It's not. So let's talk about weather for a second. So let's close this app back. If I hop right into it, it loads for me really quickly. I mean, it's always been really quick. I've never actually really had any issues with the weather. And of course we have like the widget. I mean, it loads pretty quickly. All right, so like I don't really have any issues or problems with it. Like it's been loading quickly. Like the weather for me personally has not given me any issues. You can like look through and see like all of the different like bugs that have been happening. Like let's look at some for a second. All right, so this person, for example, is sort of talking about how the sunset and sunrise timing is messed up. So he's saying, for example, "Hi Apple, is this a bug in the Apple Weather app? It's sunny at 7 p.m. and sunsets at 5:59 p.m. And so by that he means like it's obviously about to be 7 p.m. and this, you know, it's bright and sunny, but like the weather app's saying it's gonna, like, the sun sets at 6. So, you know, a bug like that. Let's find like another one. Okay, so this guy's saying, actually some users are reporting that Apple Weather app is down again. I am not facing this issue, but weird that when I turn on Wi-Fi on my iPhone 14, the weather widget loads up instantly. I have no idea why I am not getting any bugs on iOS 16.4. So that was one thing I did want to cover too. Like, you know, the weather app, you know, it's been down, and so people would like have issues with it loading, or like they wouldn't be able to see it or anything, and I've not had any of these issues, which is interesting. I don't know like why I haven't, but I mean, like I've literally not had any of these issues, and I mean I'm good with that. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of the weather bug there. Next is our notifications bug. So let's hop into that one. All right, so I have some notifications here, and I don't have many, but there'd be this weird sort of thing where, now I have experienced it before. I don't have any screenshots, and it's not doing it right now, but it's like, it can be really glitchy. Like if you're moving it up and like down really quickly, like you can almost overload the system, sort of. Like, see how like laggy that gets, like if I push it down and pull it up really quick? I don't know, it's a little buggy. And then there'd be weird things where like notifications would be like caught like sideways. I can't really force it to happen, but they'd be like sideways, like to the side, like that way. And it was this whole weird thing, and like it's weird. And there used to be a huge stutter too. I mean, that seems to be mostly fixed. Actually, it's a little, I don't know, if you overload it, like it can be a problem. Like, but for the most part, I mean, it seems fine. You know, there's not any huge issues. Again, nothing like awful. Like, I mean, I'm not having any like huge issues with the notifications or anything like that, but it's still something to sort of be aware of. All right, so last thing is storage. Now, if we head back into settings, a lot of people have talked about like the storage, and this was a bigger thing a couple months ago. You know, people were talking about like iPhone storage, like it's not loading, it's taking up way more than it needs to, just a bunch of weird random things like that. And honestly, like the storage bug is not really a bug anymore. I mean, that's been fixed a while ago. And so at the top here, as you can saw, like I loaded up mine for the first time. Like it loaded pretty quickly. And it says, I mean, it's taken up what I would consider a normal amount of storage. I mean, I've not really had any issues with it. And then down here under system data, I mean, for those of you who don't know, this is just like cache data. And so it's just sort of throughout the system. I mean, and this will go up and down. Like, I've seen it go as, oh goodness, I've seen it go up as high as like 45 gigabytes, as low as like 2 gigabytes. Like, it's sort of all over the place. And so really just let it do its own thing. Mine right now is at 11.25 gigabytes. So, I mean, that's a relatively normal thing. Just let it do its thing. Don't really worry about it. The only reason you would have a concern for it is if it's taking up so much storage that you can't do anything on your phone. At that point, it might be more of a concern. But for the most part, that doesn't really happen, and I've had zero issues with storage. All right, the next category is battery health and battery life, and sort of just the battery in general. So let's start by addressing that my battery health is at 91%. 24/7, I leave optimized battery charging enabled, and I leave clean energy charging also enabled. So that's sort of just my battery settings. And so this is an iPhone 13 Pro, so a year and a half old. Again, 91% of the maximum capacity. So it's still going pretty good. And so battery health, I mean 91%, like it doesn't need to be replaced yet. I still have like a good little bit before it needs to be replaced. So I'm not really having any issues with that. Now, battery life, like how long it lasts. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about an 8. And granted, I mean, when I was on iOS 15 at this point, like the battery health was a lot better, which means battery life would have been better in general. So my results are slightly skewed, but I'm going to try and recreate them as good as I can. But I just sort of want to like say for a sec, I mean, I'm getting pretty good screen on time. Like my average screen on time is almost 7 hours, 6 hours, 47 minutes. Screen off time is about an average of 49 minutes. And let's like, for example, yesterday, I mean, I was traveling a lot, so my screen on time was 7 hours, my screen off time was 7 hours, 40 minutes, and I used right under 100% of my battery. Like, that's a really good day. The day before that, so I had like 5 hours, 47 minutes screen on, 7 hours, 36 minutes screen off, used about 125% of my battery. Wednesday, last week, 9 hours, 22 minutes screen off time. Goodness, I don't even know what I was doing. 5.5 hours screen on time. I used almost 100% of my battery. And so overall, it's been doing pretty good. Nothing is really, I mean, I've been on YouTube quite a lot, and so that's taken up a lot of battery life, but for the most part, I've not had any issues with battery. And I mean, it could be better, technically. I mean, and part of it's just that my battery is slightly more degraded, you know, like it is at 91%. But for the most part, it's been pretty nice. I am pretty happy with it. I will say though, in the time that I've literally just recorded this video, my battery has dropped from, goodness, it was like 49% to 43%. In this video, I've only been recording for about 11 minutes. All right, so yeah, it's something. But anyway, so that's sort of the battery category. All right. So next, I just want to talk a second about downloading public betas and developer betas. Should you do it? Is it ready enough? Stable enough? Is it ready? So this is the public betas, and for those of you who don't know, you actually have to pay a yearly Apple subscription. Not necessarily a subscription. Well, I guess it sort of is, but you pay $100 to them yearly to get access to developer betas. Now, I do not have access to developer betas because I don't feel like paying Apple $100 a year for that specifically. However, there was older ways in order to get developer betas, which I've taken advantage of. However, they no longer work, so there's no point in me sort of explaining it. However, public betas are free for everyone. And so I kind of want to talk, like, is it safe enough? Like, are we good to go on installing these public betas? And so we're on iOS 16.5 public beta 4. It'll have the same build number as developer beta 4. It's just released sometimes the same day later, but usually the day after the developer beta is released, just to make sure there's no huge problems that would create issues with devices. But I would say, like, the bugs, I mean, they're just sort of minor sort of things, you know. However, battery life, I mean, it's getting better. Like, I would say battery life on 16.5 is better than 16.4. So if you honestly want better battery life, then sure, go ahead and get a beta. Bugs are very minimal. Like, there's not a huge problem. And at this point, though, I would say, I mean, it's fine. Like, I would say you're totally fine downloading it. However, since the RC, release candidate version will be coming out probably in the next 3 to 5 days, maybe. I wouldn't really download it. I mean, like, the RC is going to be out in 3 to 5 days, and then at that point, after that, it's like a week before the full version comes out. So at that point, I really wouldn't worry about it. I mean, we'll probably end up getting the full version soon. As some of y'all know, iOS 17 will be out, or the first developer beta will be released in about a month, actually. Less than a month. It was a month yesterday. So to answer any questions that y'all have, you can download it. There's no problem. It's just at this point, you might as well just wait for the full version to come out. All right, now in conclusion, the bugs are very minimal. Battery life, it's pretty good. I would say it's totally fine. I've not really had any issues at all with battery life lately. So, if you guys are worried about battery life, I wouldn't worry about it. You're totally good. Downloading the beta, again, totally fine. You might as well at this point just wait until for it to like fully come out. But yeah, well, that's really all I have to say about this. In my opinion, iOS 17, no, iOS 16.5, it's coming, it'll be out to the public really soon, and then we have iOS 17 in basically like less than a month at this point. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye guys.